1,000 oil tankers are stranded. 20% of the world's oil is stuck. And a narrow waterway controlled by the Iranians, may decide what happens to the global economy next. To understand why this matters, we need to start with a simple question. What exactly is the Strait of Hormuz? Well, people. What exactly is the Strait of Hormuz? As we can see on the screen, this small little portion right here, this S-shaped portion is Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz. All the oil tankers in the world who get world oil are stationed right here in the Persian Gulf. The Persian Gulf, this big portion, all the tankers are stationed right here of the world are stationed right here. They all have to go through this small little portion right here. They all have to go through this. And this is Iran. This is Iran. So Iran is just lobbying mines and bombs and all kinds of things into this water to stop people from passing. So they effectively have shut this area down. This is the narrow waterway in the Middle East that leads from the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz into the Gulf of Oman. At the entrance of the Persian Gulf, bordering Iran at the north, and Oman and the United Arab Emirates at the south. At its narrowest point, it's only 21 miles wide. This is only 21 miles wide. This right here, 21 miles. So all of those tankers have to come through here, and they have to not hit this island, not get shot, not get bombed. They all have to go through this, and Iran controls all of that. Okay? Countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, all of those countries export enormous amounts of oil by ship. All of their ships sit in here. So there are hundreds of ships sitting there waiting to get out of this little small portion. And because the Trump and the Israel and Trump started a war with Iran, who is here, Iran is not allowing any of them to come through. Hundreds, maybe even thousands of ships are right in here. They have to come through this small opening right here, which is 21 miles. And now you have to navigate bombs, booby traps, missiles to get through this small thing, this small waterway. Why is it important? And Iran shut down this with mines. It's considered the most important oil check in the world. This small thing right here, small waterway right there. Before the war, about 20% of the world's oil goes through there. Roughly 20 million barrels per day go through this strait. Now, just imagine that none of them are going through that strait. None of them are making that move to come from here where they're sitting and waiting full of oil and maybe getting attacked for all we know. But this is the place that is strategic enough where Iran can sink those tankers. And it only takes Iran one or two times to sink one or two tankers. And if one or two tankers get sunk, it's over. If this passage is disrupted any longer, the effects will ripple across the globe. Oil prices are starting to go up. Energy supply is about to tighten. Markets are about to panic. You can think of the strait like a bridge that 1/5 of the oil trucks have to cross over every day. If that bridge closes, if that strait closes, the entire highway system backs up. The entire highway system backs up. With this current conflict, which began with the United States and Israel launching strikes on them February 28th, 2026, Iran responded aggressively. They are the ones getting attacked. That is what they think. That is what they feel. So around March 4th, the Iranian forces, especially the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, declared the strait closed and began deploying Navy mines. There are Navy mines in this water. In this water. 21 miles. Who knows where they're at? How long will it take for them to clear it out? These mines can be dropped into the water by small boats, submarines, aircraft. They're relatively simple weapons, but extremely, extremely dangerous for oil. Because the shipping lanes right here are so narrow, 21 miles, and even less than that. Even a small number of mines can make the entire route too dangerous for tankers to go through. Iran has also targeted merchant ships and oil tankers using drones, missiles, and fast attack boats. So, more than 20 vessels have been attacked so far or threatened since the conflict has started. And the impact has been dramatic. Shipping companies have stopped sending tankers through. Insurance companies refuse to insure ships entering that area. As a result, roughly 1,000 oil tankers are now stranded up here. 1,000 or so tankers are stranded up here, waiting to pass safely through. Iran has said the strait is technically open. If you bad enough to decide you're going to try to get through, go ahead and try to get through. That's what Iran said. Iran said, go try to get through. If your ship blow up, oh well, it ain't on us. It's on the Americans and Israelis who started this. And y'all already know they don't care. They don't mind blowing folks up. They don't mind. So this is where they at. They said, oh, y'all can go on through. You're just going to take your life into your hands. Y'all can all try to go through if you want to. You can try it. So did the United States anticipate this? Did they just jump into a war and didn't think about what was going to happen when they jumped into a war? Yes, they did. But the United States appears to have underestimated how quickly Iran would move to close the strait. So American intelligence warned before February 28th that striking Iran might retaliate, and they would retaliate by closing the strait. So Americans knew, Donald Trump knew they were going to close the strait. He was briefed on the closure of that strait, that it was a real possibility. And they all discussed scenarios. What scenario do you all have in mind now to get them to stop? Okay. They've conducted many and various war games based on the possibility that Iran would close the strait or attack shipping. They know this. But the administration believed Iran would be out of the game within 2 or 3 days. Am I wrong? Am I right? They thought Iran would say, "Stop bombing me, United States. We gonna give up. We surrender. Stop bombing us." That's what the United States thought Iran was going to do. But Iran said, "Oh, no. We going down with the ship, bro. We going all in. We all in." You want to find out how all in we are? Iran moved quickly to use the strait as leverage. The strait is leverage. You know that. It's not a long-term strategy for leverage, but it's long enough that can do real damage to our economies. What were the contingency plans or the likely outcomes? The United States does not have plans for reopening the strait. Okay. First, you have to have specialized ships and helicopters, mine clearing operations, submarines. This is slow and very dangerous in order for them to open up that strait. If they wanted to open that strait up, each mine must be located and neutralized. Second, the U.S. Navy could escort oil tankers through the strait using warships. They could do that. This strategy was used in 1980 during the tanker war, when American naval forces protected commercial vessels in the Persian Gulf. That was done then. Third, the United States could launch airstrikes against Iranian missile sites, drone launch points, and naval forces threatening shipping. But even under the best conditions, reopening that strait could take weeks or even months. Analysts estimate it might take 1 to 3 months before shipping goes back to normal. Oil prices are going to rise. They're going to skyrocket. All of our oil is going to skyrocket. So who's putting pressure on Iran? Who's trying to put pressure on Iran? Hold on. Is anybody trying to put pressure on Iran? Okay. We don't know. United States has increased airstrikes against Iran, oil facilities, economic structures. Additional sanctions been imposed against Iranian financial networks and the Revolutionary Guard. At the same time, major oil companies like China and India are pushing for de-escalation because they rely heavily on that energy from the Persian Gulf. Some countries have negotiated directly with Iran to allow limited passage for their ships. India, for example, confirmed that they are in negotiations with Iran to allow 2 Indian gas tankers to pass safely through the strait. Iranian officials say several countries have approached them seeking permission to pass. So why other countries are hesitating? Why are other countries hesitating to help the United States? Hold on. Why are they hesitating to help the United States? Hold on. Oops. So why are they hesitating? So they have a lack of enthusiasm to help the United States and be an ally to help reopen the strait. Okay? This is what happens when you get on the block and you want to be a bully to everyone. And everyone says, we ain't trying to hear it. We not trying to help you because you were bullying us. And the minute we help you, you're going to continue to try to bully us. President Trump called on these countries that included China, France, Japan, South Korea, all of them, United Kingdom, to send their naval forces to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz. But most of those countries had no, they said, oh, hell no. Say, oh, hell no. You ain't finna pull us into that. Germany's foreign minister said this country had no intention of participating in military operations in the Strait. Germany's defense minister said clearly, this is not our war, this is y'all war. Y'all started this bullshit. Other countries like Greece, Italy, Denmark, Netherlands also showed skepticism about joining a military mission. Oh, hell no, we don't want no fighting. We don't want that. So many governments say they want more clarity about the strategic goals of the United States or the conflict before they consider getting involved. So Iran's Revolutionary Guard has responded defiantly, of course, challenging the United States to send ships. Challenging the United States to send ships into the Persian Gulf. If it believes Iran's naval power has been destroyed, come on over here. That's what Iran is saying. Iran is saying, bring your ass on over here. I'll show you if we got any firepower. We're going to show you what time it is. Okay? What time it is. So, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. And this is the most important thing that most people are missing about the whole shebang. Iran don't need to physically close the strait. They don't need to physically close the strait. All Iran has to do is make the strait too dangerous to sail through. That's all they got to do. They ain't got to do nothing else. Once ships begin getting attacked, another powerful force is finna enter the picture. Another powerful force is going to check all of them. The insurance companies. The insurance companies is going to check them all. Oil tankers cannot sail through a war zone without insurance. Iran does not need to fight anybody. They just need to make it too dangerous for the ships to get through. That's it. If the insurance company refused to cover that risk, because look, I'ma send a tanker over there and you're gonna drop my tanker, you're gonna blow a hole in my tanker. I done insured that tanker for billions of dollars and you drop it into the sea. I ain't insuring shit. And when you ain't insuring nothing, ain't nothing moving through that strait. So somebody is caught between a rock and a hard place, and it ain't Iran. It's the United States and Israel. What did y'all think? I believe what they thought was they was going to bully Iran into surrendering within 2 or 3 days after all that shooting, and Iran said, go fuck yourself. And this is the strategy that Iran had from day one. Oh no, we finna show y'all. We finna fuck some shit. We finna wreck shop. That's all they have to do is make it too dangerous for people to go through. And the insurance companies will shut all of that down. every tanker will be shut down. So even if the strait is technically still open, the strait is still open. Y'all can go through the strait if y'all want to. Even if they can sail through there, if insurers refuse to cover the risk, shipping companies will stop sending their vessels through. So even if it's technically open, traffic will stop almost instantly. Iran has powerful advantage, the geography. The United States has the strongest navy in the world, but the Strait of Hormuz is one of the hardest places for large naval forces to operate and navigate. It's only 22 miles wide. It's narrow, crowded with commercial ships, and surrounded by Iranian coastline. From the coastline, Iran can launch missiles, drones, mines, and small attack boats. In effect, Iran is turning this Strait of Hormuz, into a weapon. And another detail is that Iran is not blocking every ship. They're not blocking every ship. Instead, it's allowing some countries to negotiate safe passage while restricting vessels connected to the United States and Israel. They letting them other ones go through, but they ain't letting the ones connected to the United States and Israel go through. And maybe some other people that are in the war messing with them too. So that means the Strait of Hormuz is no longer just a shipping route. It's a bargaining chip and a geopolitical confrontation with the United States. Okay. Listen to Lion Caroline Levitt.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It stopped raining, so I'll take a few questions.
A quick question on the China. Will the president delay that? Is the war still going on, and on that, has the president spoken to China about?
Yes. So the president looks forward to meeting with President Xi in China. This is a trip I know he's long been looking forward to, and I know President Xi has been looking forward to welcoming President Trump. As for the dates, as you heard from the president last night, there's a possibility the trip could be delayed. We'll keep you posted on that, but these are leader-to-leader conversations that are happening, so as soon as we have an update, we'll provide the new dates.
Caroline, President Trump says that other countries should now step up to safeguard ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Why should other countries that were consulted?
Y'all gotta notice something. When she finna lie, she puckers up her lip. I done studied her a lot. When she finna say a lie or she finna brace herself for some bullshit, this is the look she have on her face. When she finna brace herself to say some bullshit. Now, my understanding is Donald Trump has told the other countries that they got to get their own oil up out of there. That was my understanding, that within the last 12 hours, 24 hours, Donald Trump told the other countries, you got to do what you got to do, get your oil. You got to do what you got to do. Where's that drill, baby, drill here in the United States? We don't need their oil. Every goofy person on the planet keeps saying, we don't need nobody oil. We can drill our own oil. Why don't we start drilling our own oil? Then we ain't got to worry about the Strait of Hormuz. Is that how that works? That ain't how that works. It's not how that works. We stuck like Chuck, like everybody else.
About this war, that are involved in this war, now put their troops in harm's way in the Strait of Hormuz.
Because these other countries are benefiting greatly from the United States military taking out the threat of Iran. The rogue Iranian regime has long not just posed a threat to the United States of America, but of course to our Gulf and Arab partners in the region. As you see, I believe Iran has struck more than 300 civilian targets in the Gulf region. If you think about Europe, their ballistic missile capability that the United States military is currently wiping out was a direct and imminent threat to our European allies, as well as our bases in the region, which is why President Trump took this action in the first place. So these countries are absolutely benefiting from ensuring that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon. This is something not just the United States, but the entire Western world has agreed with for many, many years. So
yes, they've agreed They've agreed that there is an issue with Iran, but Iran never went to attack them. So they had no reason to go over there to attack Iran. You, United States, and Israel decided you guys were going to do. No, United States didn't decide. Israel decided that they were going to drag America into this war. Israel went to war, and they went knowing that they couldn't win. So they had to pull the United States into this war. So United States, seeing as how we got a goofy ass president, went along with the bullshit, even though they've been saying death to America for 30, 40 years. We never had anybody come over here and try their luck. So we went over there on false pretenses. But she's still going along with the company line saying, oh, we had to take them out because he was being a threat. No, they weren't.
I think the president is absolutely right to call on these countries to do more to help the United States to reopen the Strait of Hormuz so that we can stop this terrorist regime from restricting the free flow of energy. And the fact that they are doing so just underscores why President Trump needed to take this action in the first place.
The president just told the UK a few days ago that he doesn't need their ships, and now he says he does.
The president spoke on that last night. He said that he wished the UK had stepped up sooner and quicker, but he continues to speak with our allies in Europe and is calling on them to do more, just as he did when he called on them to step up with respect to their defense spending in NATO. He's calling them to do more here, and I think you'll see that come to fruition.
So recently, does the president feel like he needs 2,500 or so Marines in the Middle East right now?
I would defer you to the Pentagon on that troop movement, and it's not something I'm going to get ahead of the commander-in-chief on. Yeah, and look, I'm not going to get ahead of him on any options that may be on the table for the president.
So Italy and Germany both indicated that are willing to send their ships to police the Strait of Hormuz. In case NATO refused to do that, what is Plan B for President Trump?
Right now, the president is being very clear to NATO and to our allies in Europe of what he wants them to do. And again, I think you're going to see that come to fruition. I would just add on one scheduling note later this afternoon, you'll see the president yourselves. He just told me he wants to bring you all in for the Kennedy Center board meeting lunch, so you can get ready for that if you're part of the pool today. And then, of course, at 3:30 this afternoon, he will be signing an executive order alongside the vice president to formally launch the anti-fraud task force, which will investigate fraud across the country. The vice president will be leading that. So you'll see them in the Oval Office later today. So I'll leave it to the president to answer the rest of your questions. Yeah.
Where does that stand right now? And has the president set a deadline that he wants to see China take any potential action?
No, I just answered the question. It's a leader-to-leader conversation at this point. President looks forward to visiting China. The dates may be moved. As commander-in-chief, it's his number one priority right now to ensure the continued success of this operation, Epic Fury. So we'll keep you posted on the dates as soon as we can. Thanks, guys.
So, as per usual, we get the slickness of Caroline Levitt, who always comes up with some goofy shit to say. And she backs up the president. It is what it is. But here's the thing. Now we understand why this small portion right here matters so much to everyone. To everyone. All the tankers are in this space, right? All the tankers are right there in that space. All the tankers are right here. That's it. They have to pass through here. It is what it may look small on a map. It's only 21 miles, the size of a small town. But economically, it's one of the most powerful choke points in the world. Right now, the world's energy system is essentially waiting on standby. All these tankers are ready to leave to deposit their oil wherever it needs to go, into the Gulf, out into the Arabian Sea, into the Indian Sea. They ain't gonna make it. Not no time soon. Okay. Iran is testing how far it can push, how far it can go. The United States is deciding how far it's willing to go. What can the United States do? They got to negotiate somehow, some way. And the rest of the world, if they decide they're not going to join, even the closest allies, they may be and stay reluctant to join the fight. Most of them are reluctant to join the fight. What they said was, you and Israel started it. You and Israel need to end it. Why should we put our people in harm's way when you had no need to go over there and do what you did? Everybody understands what could have happened if this situation escalated. Everybody understood that. But those are the risks that the people were trying to take. They were willing to take that. Israel is the aggressor. I don't know why everybody seems to want to coddle Israel like Israel gets a pass on everything. We gotta survive. We gotta be. We deserve to live. We deserve our own homeland. Okay, fine, but you don't deserve to drag us into a war. You don't deserve to drag us into a war. I don't give a damn how many Jewish people here. You don't get to drag us into a war, us Americans into a war. You take your own people into a war. Okay? This military, everybody understands where this is going. It's got to go. It's got to go. Iran is willing to die for theirs. They down for theirs. They willing to die for it. A military clash in the Strait of Hormuz wouldn't just be another regional conflict. If we had a military clash, submarine, XY and XY in that strait, it would disrupt the whole global energy system. Everything. Prices would be skyrocketing. Yeah, get ready for $7 worth of gas, somebody said in the chat. It could send economic shockwaves across the entire world. And we get that. So where's that drill, baby, drill? Are we starting up those machines to drill, baby, drill, or what? Okay. So the real question is no longer whether the strait will reopen. That's not the question. The real question is, who's willing to ride out this war to reopen it? Who's willing to do that? Who's willing to fight to the death of it? Okay. Iran controls all of this. And I heard that they had already started putting mines in the water. So when they try to go through and they're related to Israel and they're related to the United States, they can blow holes in the ship and do whatever. Heat-seeking mines, I don't know what the hell they got going on. All I know is you should have thought about this before you started a war. You should have set your ass down at that table and started negotiating like Obama did and handled y'all's business instead of starting a war with somebody who would have you over a barrel like this. Because if they decide that if Iran decides that they're going to close this strait, close it, that's going to be catastrophic for all of those countries, all of those tankers that are in this area. There's thousands of tankers in this area waiting to come through this strait. And this is Iran. As you can see, Iran and United Arab Emirates and Qatar, Dubai, all of them are right there waiting for their ships, their tankers to go through. And if they decide they're going to go through one by one and Iran decides they're going to sink them one by one, there ain't nothing you can, that's all they need to do is sink 2 or 3 of them. That's all they got to do is sink 2 or 3 of them and it's over. And it's over. So somebody need to go to the table. It's United States or Israel. Somebody need to go to the table because y'all pride ain't going to do it. Okay. The pride is not going to do it. Okay. So it is what it is. This is where we're at. Strait of Hormuz. Between, where is this at? This is Africa, Saudi Arabia, Iran. Where is Iraq? Where the hell is Iraq? I know it's close to it somewhere. Oh yeah, Iraq. Right here. Where the hell is Israel? Where did I see Israel at? Somewhere on here. I can't remember where it's at. Oh, over here somewhere. Israel. So anyway, this is what we got to deal with right now. This is what they're dealing with. This is what they got to deal with. So We're gonna have $7 we're gonna have $7 price gas, y'all. It is what it is. Because I don't see Iran backing down no time soon. I don't see that. I see United States they're gonna have to pay the toll. This game of chicken is for real. And they should have thought about that before they decided that they was gonna attack Iran. Nobody's buying the bullshit. United States and Israel attacked Iran. Nobody's buying the bullshit. There's no difference in 30 years ago what Iran was doing. Nobody's buying the bullshit, including our U.S. allies who said, why the hell should we join into something that y'all started and we didn't need to start it? So it is what it is. This is the Strait of Hormuz right here. Thousands of tankers. They got to come through here, and Iran ain't letting them. You all hit the like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back with more content. I just wanted to get this out there that Iran don't even have to close the strait. They haven't closed the strait. That's all they have to do is threaten to bomb tankers, and the insurance companies will be the ones to say no mas. The insurance companies are going to blink before anybody else. The insurance companies say, you ain't going with my tanker. I'm paying for the tanker. It's insured by me. And no, we're not paying for anything. And that will effectively shut down the Strait of Hormuz. The insurance companies will. Because they're not going to allow their tankers to sink. It is what it is. Hit the like, share, and subscribe, guys. Hit the like button on this video, please, and thank you. We want to boost it up in the algorithm. I appreciate you all. I will be back with more content. Please and thank you. Hit the like button, share.